This is Special Chronicles, giving respect and a voice to people with special needs.
I shudder thinking how the world can be so cruel. I lend my voice to those who can't. It's time we try, it's time we care, it's time we stand. It starts with a voice.
Welcome to the Special Chronicles Podcast. My name is Daniel Smrokowski. I'm the founder and host of Special Chronicles, an athlete leader of Special Olympics Illinois, and a former Southern Tribal Global Messenger. Our website, specialchronicles.com, where you can follow Special Chronicles on socials, subscribe to our newsletter, find the show notes for this episode, and much more on specialchronicles.com. This week on the Special Chronicles Podcast Series, a recap of Turin 2025. Our guest is Tyler, Special Olympics USA athlete who competed in Alpine skiing at the World Winter Games in Turin. That by the time you all hear this, this episode is airing in April. The World Winter Games took place a month ago, the beginning of March 2025. Please put your virtual hands together as you welcome Tyler on Special Chronicles. Welcome, Tyler.
How you doing, Daniel?
Good. It's good to have you on the program, and excited to hear about what the on this episode the preparation that you took to go to the World Winter Games and to hear about your experience in Italy.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So let's begin. And I read that you've been competing in Special Olympics for over 21 years. As a way to introduce yourself to our listeners, can you tell us about your journey in the Special Olympics movement and what got and how you got started in Special Olympics?
Well, anyway, I was born and raised in Massachusetts. I call Tyngsboro my home, but I didn't go to school in Tyngsboro. In fact, I went all the way to Lexington to endure harsh morning commutes. And when I was playing basketball for Conning School in Lexington, one of my teammates had a father who spoke to my dad about this organization called Kids and Disability Sports. And Kids and Disability Sports is based out of Lowell, Massachusetts, and basically I joined their basketball team, and I later competed in Special Olympics tournaments, including winning the state title back in 2003 and playing halftime at a Boston Celtics game. I later went on to compete in golf with Kids and Disability Sports, or Kids Inc., and then later with the Hillview Golf Course Special Olympics team. I also competed in athletics with Kids Inc., which partnered with Team Mickey Ward Charities, and currently I do alpine skiing with the Neshoba Shooting Stars. And the more I competed and accomplished, the more I started writing about it, which led to my public speaking career and later my published autobiography, What Do You Say? Autism with Character, as well as my involvement with the Doug Flutie Jr. Foundation for Autism.
Awesome. And so you've competed in a variety of sports like alpine skiing, athletics, basketball, and golf. Which of these sports that you've competed in has had the biggest impact on you, and you talk a little bit about why it's had the biggest impact on you?
Yeah, well, obviously golf is my best sport, and I worked so hard at it. I went from competing at the local level and then eventually to the state level and then the regional level and eventually the national level. And the game of golf has allowed me to travel the country and meet new people and start a new golf tour sponsored by the Flutie Foundation called Stars of the Spectrum Golf. And basically opened the door for so many opportunities and possibilities than I thought was possible. It's also allowed me to work in the golf industry, such as working as a groundskeeper at a golf course, and eventually the PGA Tour Superstore, where I got to handle some accessories and apparel and stuff like that.
Awesome. And just like many of us Special Olympics athletes, I'm sure that there's a lot of memorable moments. What has been one of the most memorable moments from your time competing with Special Olympics USA even at the local or regional or national level? Is there a memorable moment?
Well, I remember my first state games in 2006. I think it was the first time I remember breaking 90 in 18 holes.
Wow.
I think I shot an 89 and 86 in my first ever state tournament, and won a gold medal. Won the first of what would be 19 state gold medals in a row for golf. And after 2006, that performance inspired me to take up golf. And of course, in 2007, I played in the New England Invitational in Connecticut. I shot my personal best 82 and 18 holes. And then in 2008, I went to Florida for the Special Olympics NIT down in Port St. Lucie, where I finally broke 80 in 18 holes for the first time ever. I shot a 79 in the second of 3 rounds. And then I've been to 4 USA games. I set another personal best in my first USA games in Nebraska in 2010. And I met someone inspired by me in New Jersey in 2014. His name was Tyler May. He's from Washington. And I won a silver medal 3 times, finishing second each time to South Carolina's Scott Rohrer. But obviously, nothing could top 2022 in Orlando, where I made a pair of eagles that week. And I played Matt Glumac from Southern California in an epic final round duel that was not decided until the last regulation hole. And I finally came out on top to win that elusive gold medal in the 2022 Special Olympics USA Games. And basically, it served as the basis for the Flutie Foundation's Stars of the Spectrum Golf Tour, which is now in its 2nd season.
Awesome. And just like many of us athletes, our family is one of our biggest supporter. You've got some not on camera right now, but I'm sure some of your family is backstage of the recording of this podcast right now. And so how has your family community supported you along your journey to compete at the local level, the regional level, the national level, and then even now at the World Winter Games? How throughout all of the different competitions, both locally, nationally, and internationally in Special Olympics, how's your family supported you?
It's a long story, of course. Basically, alpine skiing is not really my number one sport. It's not really my favorite sport. Golf is both my best and favorite. And my parents took up skiing just as soon as they got married. They needed like a winter season activity, and sure enough, they found it in skiing. And then later on, once they had children, they were able to take my brother and later myself up to New Hampshire to go skiing on vacations, have some fun during the winter months. And the White Mountains is basically one of my favorite places to go to. And I live in Massachusetts, but I do most of my skiing in New Hampshire thanks to its proximity and access from where I live. And about my love for the game of golf, it it's my favorite sport to play, and they let me play any chance I get, and that's one way they support me. And one time when I was working at a local hospital, I noticed that they have a golf league, and I convinced my dad to join. Dad and I together, and we was playing that league for several years. I ended up winning that league in 2009, and of course, many years later, my parents let me join a local golf club where I could play more often, but I had to pay for my membership. It's not Hillview; it's a different place called Nasset Lake Country Club in Westford. And the reason I joined is because golfers from that particular golf club, as well as 3 others around the area called Lowell, they get to compete in the Lowell City Golf Tournament, which is a big deal around these parts. And I was able to compete in the Lowell City Golf Tournament 3 times. And, my parents believe as much as I do that Special Olympics provides so many benefits for me, not just athletically, but academically and socially as well. And allows and encourages and inspires me to do more with my life, such as going to college, pursuing and then gaining full-time work and living independently, being self-sufficient, and being a member of the Special Olympics Massachusetts Board of Directors. And of course, I did the work, but my parents did the selling.
Awesome. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we will get into your preparation for the World Winter Games in Turin and hear about how you did and how you did competing at the World Games after this short break, to let you all of you listening know that support for Special Chronicles comes from listeners like you. Please join our supporters with a monthly or one-time donation so we can operate our studio, continue our mission, give respect and voice to people with disabilities like Tyler, myself, and the many others. And so we can keep this microphone on, keep the lights on, keep all this technology plugged in. Visit specialchronicles.com/give to donate and support this podcast. And if you want to access bonus content, you can join now at specialchronicles.com/plus. And back to the program as we get into preparation for the World Winter Games in Turin, representing Special Olympics, the USA at the 2025 World Winter Games in Turin. It was such a huge honor. What does this opportunity mean to you personally when you heard that you were going to be a part of Special Olympics USA and competing at the World Winter Games? What did this opportunity mean?
I was celebrating my 37th birthday at the time when I learned that I was being nominated to represent Special Olympics USA in the next World Winter Games. I mean, look, representing the USA in something as big and important as the World Winter Games is something that I've been wanting to do since I got involved with Special Olympics over 20 years ago. I mean, I look up to Olympians who represented their countries with the utmost dignity and respect. I've been watching the Olympics for decades. I've been a student of the Olympic movement, and I'm inspired by what they do, not just on the playing surface, but off of it as well, as they try to set an example to the world. I mean, I've got to meet a lot of Olympians, such as Nancy Kerrigan and judokas Jimmy Pedro, Mike Ruzioni, Ali Raisman, Jojo White, and some members of the Boston Bruins that went on to compete in the Olympics. And then to finally get to go to the site of 2 Winter Olympics, Salt Lake City and Turin, was extra special, as I got to be a part of history. And it also means a lot to my family because they get to witness the result and the impact of raising someone like me, living with autism spectrum disorder after all those years of finding schools and therapies and jobs, you name it.
Awesome. Alpine skiing is such a tough and intense sport. How did you prepare both physically but also mentally for these World Winter Games in Turin? Can you walk us through what your training and preparation was?
It was super complicated. I mean, physically, I try to make it a point to do dryland training exercises at least 2 times a week. I also go on the elliptical once in a while. I ride the stationary bike in the basement on the weekends. I do push-ups and sit-ups and light weights almost every day, which is hard to do when you have a full-time job and you're away from home over 50 hours a week. I also try to maintain a healthy diet with grains, fruits, vegetables. I drink 4 to 5 bottled waters a day. And I also had to make sacrifices such as swearing off alcoholic beverages, junk food, candies, desserts, sugary foods and drinks, even sodas. And basically, I'm in bed by 8 o'clock and I wake up at 5 a.m. every weekday. And I've been doing it for about a year leading up to Turin. And mentally, I look for sources of inspiration to help me stay focused on achieving dreams of medals. And I think about Aly Raisman and how she approaches her pursuit of success in gymnastics and the 6 medals that she won, which was no accident and there was no luck involved, but years of training and willing and perfecting her techniques. And basically, skiing's a different animal than gymnastics because you have to deal with the elements, you have to deal with the weather, the snow conditions, and being outside. And basically, when I'm riding my bike, I tend to watch clips of Aly Raisman while listening to classic rock. I mean, and Aly's a source of scintilla that I could not find anywhere else. And I just needed this piece of motivation just to give me an edge, just to take my training to another level if I'm ever going to compete at the highest level of competition. And I look up to her.
Awesome. You've mentioned that one of your goals is to own a medal in honor of Bode Miller. What about his story inspires you, and how has he fueled your drive to compete at the World Winter Games?
I went to Park City where Bode won a pair of silver medals in the 2002 Winter Olympics. I recently went to Sestriere where Bode was favored to medal in several events, but couldn't do so when the Olympics were held there in 2006. I almost met him at a golf tournament in 2008, but couldn't get myself to do so after what happened in 2006. And then he goes on to win gold, silver, and bronze in Vancouver in 2010, and then adds a bronze in Sochi in 2014. And he had to fight for that respect. And sure enough, he won my respect. And I wanted to win a medal in Sestriere for Bode because he didn't get to win one there 19 years ago, and I won a bronze in my giant slalom event. And I stood up on that podium and said, "This one's for you, Bode." And of course, he's from New Hampshire, and I do most of my skiing up there, just as I've done since I was little. And I wanted to make my home region proud, and skiing the way I did is the only way I knew how. And I wanted to win one for Bode because, besides the fact that we do our skiing in New Hampshire, it's because he couldn't win one in 2006. So what better way to pay a tribute to him than win a medal for him?
Awesome.
He's like my all-time favorite skier, of course.
Awesome.
Besides, like, all respects to Michaela Schifrin and Lindsey Vonn and Ted Ligety. I like Bode Miller because of the way he skis and the way he approaches and the way he goes out there and what he's been through all his life.
Awesome. And as you competed in Turin, you share with us and share with our listeners what were you most excited about? Can you tell us about a few of your favorite moments from competing at the Special Olympics World Winter Games, and then what message you hope to share with others about your experience? Do you have any favorite highlights and memories from over there?
It's tough to pick one, but all I know is that being part of history and representing Special Olympics USA is a a really nice memory. Being a part of the movement for people like myself, and when I was about to get my bronze medal, I noticed this guy behind me who learned that he was going to get a gold medal. He's from Italy. His name is Luca, and seeing his reaction up close is something that I'll never forget. And being free to self-express as long as it's appropriate and within the spirit of Special Olympics. And my message is that people like me matter for a reason. We belong. We are a part of this earth, and always try to represent the best version of yourselves when you're at such a big stage as this. And believe you and me, it's worth it more to be nice. It's always worth it to be nice.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, try hard and be nice.
Awesome.
Try
great,
hard, but be nice.
Great message. And as we move to talk about some of the challenges and motivation as an athlete with autism, how is the experience of competing at the World Winter Games and competing in the Special Olympics shaped your confidence and self advocacy?
Well, I've learned so many things along the way. I surrounded myself with good people who give me confidence and motivation to do more with my life, and through my advocacy, I return the favor with speeches and words of wisdom and experience. I learned that there are so many people out there in Special Olympics with similar struggles as mine, and I no longer feel alone that way. And every time I go to those big events, I see the whole world come together. I see so many people like me with a common goal to try our best to pursue victory, but be brave in the attempt. That's all that matters anymore. That's the spirit of Special Olympics.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that you tied athlete health into that, and because that's definitely what this movement is all about. About being brave in the attempt. You were inducted into the Special Olympics Massachusetts Hall of Fame, and you also received an honorary ESPY award for the book that you mentioned earlier that you co-authored with your mother. How have these recognitions influenced your journey as an athlete and as a person?
Well, I feel more confident and experienced now as a result of these accolades, as they serve as a reminder of how hard I worked for them. And I would like to be known as a man for my time or season, but if I try hard enough, work hard enough, I could be a man for all seasons. And that's what the Winter Games is all about for me. Not only am I successful in summer sports, I'm successful in winter sports as well.
Awesome. And for many of us Special Olympics athletes, we face challenges both on the field and off the field. Can you share with us a particular challenge that you faced and how you overcame it?
Well, I learned that you're not going to be perfect 24/7. That's not possible. That's neither sustainable nor possible. And it's important to find a balance between working hard and working smart. And I remember going to a club tournament feeling inspired by Xander Schauffele's gold medal in the 2020 Olympics in golf. But for some reason, nothing clicked for me on the golf course as I was trying too hard. And I took that lesson to heart, and I devoted my time from the summer 21 to the 22 USA Games on fixing my swing without any major changes, and basically I had results leading to gold in Orlando. And I realized I didn't have to swing so hard. I didn't have to overdo my swing. One thing in particular, I just didn't have to take my club well past parallel in order to hit it far. I just have to play within myself, just keep it up like that, like no more than like 80 to 90%. And the next thing I know, I'm hitting the ball farther than I ever had before. And I've had those clubs for years. I've had my irons for years, and I'm hitting the ball farther than I ever had before. And I saw results.
Awesome. And how do you stay motivated and focused when you face challenges, when you face setbacks or tough moments in your training and in any even in your competition? I'm sure like at the World Winter Games until when you might have faced some tough moments. How have you stayed motivated? How have you stayed focused during tough
Well,
moments?
one thing I do is look for sources of inspiration. Keep your determination and faith. And when things get stressful, I try to take a step back and breathe and find a quiet place to relax and breathe. And hopefully I'll become more focused. And as I said before, I look up to people I mentioned earlier, the likes of
Mhm.
Ali Raisman and Mike Ruzioni and Bode Miller, and the kinds of adversity they go through and how they overcome it. And sometimes only I can overcome my adversity, and the only way I know how, which is to stick to a routine or adjust or adapt to sudden changes in schedules.
Awesome. We're going to take one more sponsor break, and when we come back, we'll get into our final segments, and we'll look forward and get into some final thoughts after this final break to let you all know that support for Special Chronicles. That this episode also comes from the ComEd Energy Force Ambassador Program, country's first energy and solar efficiency education program designed for and taught by people with disabilities. Learn more at specialchronicles.com/ComEd. That's specialchronicles.com/ComEd. And support for Special Chronicles comes from United Airlines, Bridge Disability Business Resource Group, connecting people of all abilities. Learn more on United's commitment to disability inclusion for employment and travel at specialchronicles.com/United, specialchronicles.com/United. And Tyler, as we look forward, you've already achieved so much in your career in Special Olympics. But what's next for you now that these World Winter Games 2025 in Turin have completed? Do you have any long-term goals that you're working toward in Special Olympics or
Well,
beyond? What do you hope for in the future?
Special Olympics for me doesn't end after the World Winter Games. I mean, there's always another competition after this, particularly I get to resume my golf season, my golf schedule and stuff, my golf routine, what have you. Now that the Winter Games are out of the way, I get to focus on golf, whether it's through Special Olympics or Stars of the Spectrum Golf, at least for this year, and perhaps next year when the USA Games are in Minnesota. I mean, there are so many opportunities I want to take advantage of. I still have hopes and dreams after the games, and well, for example, I like to start a golf or athletic apparel line. I mean, I have T-shirt designs and a name for my company called 86. But if you slow it down, it's not the number 86. It's 8, the number 8, capital T, and the number 6. It's 8T6. 86 is my birth year, and basically, yeah, here are my designs right
Awesome.
here.
Awesome. Let me put you full screen to show off
Thank you
yours
very much.
there, so you can see.
Yeah, I have this thing with the Bruins, though.
Awesome.
Stripes. I got a lot of that. And those are my designs, of course. They're sort of like a hobby. Anyway, I would like to do some modeling, but it requires me to get in better shape and fitness. Perhaps write a second book about myself. But I have the material in place, but I need to find a publisher or a publicist to help promote it. And of course, I still have my job to do as a warehouse coordinator for a parking solutions company at a place between where I live and Boston. And of course, I have my duties with the Special Olympics Massachusetts Board, and of course, my golf ventures. As a matter of fact, I have a lot of golf-related stuff on my bucket list, such as golfing in every U.S. state, in Canada, Ireland, Scotland, Dubai, and Australia. Visit every North American city that has hosted the Olympics, and Lake Placid is closest to my home, and I've been wanting to go there for a long time. Of course, I've skied in Vermont and Utah, but I also want to give Colorado, Tahoe, Wyoming, or Idaho a try. I want to visit the halls of fame and for basketball, football, hockey, golf, U.S. Olympics. I've already attended the Masters and the U.S. Open, so I want to go to a PGA Championship and a British Open and visit the NASA Johnson Space Center and Cape Canaveral and Pearl Harbor and take batting practice at Fenway Park and plant a tree. And of course, I met a lot of famous people like Ali Raisman, Rob Gronkowski, and Patrice Bergeron, Tuukka Rask, members of the Bruins, Mike Eruzione. Did I say that?
Yes.
And
Awesome.
Manny Ramirez, Tim Wakefield, some members of the Red Sox, JoJo White. I met him once, and basically I met Tom Heinsohn at halftime during the Celtics game that I played in. There's that big dude with a big ring. I mean, that was a total thrill of me when he was like 17 years old.
Awesome. So I'm sure we've got a lot of younger athletes that might be tuning in. So what advice would you give to young athletes who are just starting out in Special Olympics and pursuing their athletic events or their athletic dreams and want to achieve what you've achieved from the local level to the regional to national to the world to the world games? What advice would you give to younger athletes?
Hey, everybody has to start somewhere. I mean, start with a dream and work on it. And if it doesn't work out, then work on another dream. I mean, your story matters, but only you can write your story, as no one else is going to write it for you. Anyway, having faith in yourself can only take you so far. Just remember, it's up to you to do the work. Character is an important word to live by. In an uncertain world, character matters. And never let fear determine the direction your life wishes to go.
Awesome. You mentioned a little bit earlier about the book that you wrote with your mother, and you've had a significant impact on raising awareness about autism, especially through your book. What do you say, Autism with Character? How important is it? This episode is airing in the middle of April, during Autism Awareness Month. So how important is it for you to use your platform, such as this book, to share your experiences and advocate for inclusion?
Well, I felt that my story was worth documenting, and it's important for people to know what people on the spectrum go through every day. And people like me deserve and demand support and attention, of course, not just during school years, but beyond it, as those living with intellectual disabilities are likely to have high employment rates, inadequate job training and prospects, and need to be well educated to prepare themselves for the real world. And this is a human issue, and included people like me is imperative.
Mm-hmm.
They want to live a life that's productive, meaningful, and they want to contribute. And we're here for a reason, not just to exist, but to help play a role in society, to have a purpose, to find something that gives them purpose, a reason to live. Not just to get a job, but to let them do something that they love to do. Let them enjoy themselves and have their lives that are worth living. Have a life that has meaning, and share it with other people.
Absolutely. So for all of you who are listening or watching this podcast, go check out Tyler's book. What do you say? Autism with Character. I'm sure you can they find it on Amazon or other places?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they can find it on Amazon.com. And
Awesome. So for all of you listening, go on Amazon or go to Google and buy Tyler's book and go and check out more of Tyler's story. We all have moments of doubt, but it's clear that you've worked hard to get to this moment. What keeps you going when you're unsure or you're feeling challenged? If there are any times when
Well, the same thing I said when asked about what I do to stay motivated and focused in moments of trying times, tough moments, mistakes, and adversity. I'm old enough to know that it's not peaches and cream. It's not a bowl of cherries. It's not sunshine and rainbows. And I try to remember that Rocky speech to his boy, and I would recite it word for word. And let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are. It'll beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody's going to hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward, how much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Now, if you know what you're worth, then go out and get what you're worth. But you got to be willing to take the hits and not pointing fingers saying, you ain't where you want to be because of him or her or anybody. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that.
Awesome. So finally, what are some of your favorite memories from your time throughout the Special Olympics movement, and from whether it's at the local level, the regional, national, or even from looking back a month ago at the Winter Games in Turin? What's some of your favorite memories, and how has this shaped who you are today?
When I was 21, I spoke at Harvard in 2008 for the 40th anniversary Let Me Be Brave Gala, and I was surprised at the impact it had on those who witnessed it. And 10 years later, I spoke in the 50th anniversary celebration at JFK Library in Boston, and basically all the fundraising events, the competitions, the travels, the camaraderie with others, celebrating our existence. I mean, those are the things that stay with me, and Torino in particular. The partnership between Special Olympics Massachusetts and the Bruins Foundation, going into the golf tournaments, really got me to connect to members of the Bruins through the game of golf, and getting to know my competitors and teammates, because only we got to experience it all. And for example, this experience in Torino made Special Olympics USA stronger together. We came out of it stronger. For example, we all had to rough it. I shared a cramped bedroom with 3 other people for a week. I mean, believe you me, it was not pretty. I mean, there were only 2 outlets to charge our things, our electronics. And there's 1 bathroom. We can only go one at a time, which is no fun. I mean, but still, our experience made us stronger.
Awesome. Love that. Before we get to the final question, and the time, the past 38, almost 40 minutes has flown by. Do you have any final thoughts on your overall time here today on Special Chronicles that you want to share?
Talk about covering the bases. I mean, I enjoyed talking about Special Olympics in my point of view. I mean, I hope those that are listening will have a more open mind and a greater understanding of us, that we are more than what our medals say we are. We are more than what our labels tell us what we are. I mean, we have lives outside of Special Olympics. We are of this earth, and through our talents, we're striving to change the world and change it for the better. I mean, we are a family, the people, the athletes of Special Olympics. We are a family. And when we had nowhere else to turn to, Special Olympics provided this family atmosphere for us.
Awesome. I love that. That's we'll definitely more than the medals that we receive. We're a family. That's a powerful message to wrap things up. We have one final question that kind of gets to the heart of what this podcast is all about. And to introduce that final question, we've got a bumper. So let's go ahead and play. Roll that bumper.
We're not just athletes.
We are the ambassadors of an uprising.
Peaceful protesters.
In a rebellion against anyone
who has a fear of difference.
Difference.
Our demands are
equality.
Dignity.
And the recognition of our
shared humanity. We will not stop
or accept anything less.
Today, our world is
more divided than ever.
And coming together has never been more urgent.
The revolution
is inclusion.
Find out more at jointherevolution.org.
Ever since I attended the 2019 World Games in Abu Dhabi as a Southern Travel Global Messenger, been concluding this program with one final question that gets to the heart of what this program is about. Of course, we don't just want our listeners to listen to this podcast, but to learn from your story, Tyler, and to take and bring inclusion into their communities, into their towns, and so what does inclusion mean to you?
Inclusion means to feel welcome, to feel a sense of belonging, to be respected for who I am, to be honored for what it took to get to where I am today, to have my struggles recognized on my way. Inclusion is not the destination, it's the journey. Without the journey, you don't, or you can't, or you won't appreciate the destination. Inclusion means being given a chance or a platform to showcase your strengths and to keep at it, to be allowed to feel confident in one's abilities, to have self-esteem, and understand that inclusion means to set an example for the world.
Awesome. Powerful message to conclude on. I got a few final plugs for all of you listening in. You can shop our merchandise store, our Disabled Voices Matter collection. 60% of the profits will go back to Special Chronicles. We have t-shirts, hoodies, coffee mugs. SpecialChronicles.com/shop is where you can get our merch. You can tap that follow button. We got new episodes that are coming every week, every Monday. A new episode drops. So for those of you listening to this series, as we recap the World Winter Games in Turin 2025, you can go back the past couple of weeks and hear from the Chief of Sport and Competition at Special Olympics, as well as Southern Travel Global Messenger Grace Payne from last week's episode. And coming up in the coming weeks, you'll hear from Mary Marvin, who competed in snowshoeing, as well as coach as a snowshoeing coach. And you also will be hearing from in the coming weeks. You'll hear from two athletes who competed in the dance sport event in Italy, as well as athlete Nick Mills, who competed along with Tyler in Alpine skiing. And then we'll be hearing about the Global Youth Leadership Summit that took place, as well as the Global Coalition for Inclusion. And we'll be talking with one of the sponsors, United Airlines. So stay tuned for the coming weeks. So tap that follow button on Apple, Spotify, subscribe on YouTube, so you don't miss a new episode. And subscribe to our newsletter on SpecialChronicles.com. Thank you again, Tyler, for taking the time. It's been a lot of fun and a joy to hear your story and your experiences competing at the World Winter Games.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And until then, until next week, folks, remember to follow, subscribe, like, comment, all of that, and we'll see you next week. Until then, remember, choose to include, and talk to you all next week on SpecialChronicles.com. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Special Chronicles Podcast. Our podcast was produced by Daniel Smrokowski on the Special Chronicles Network. Follow Special Chronicles on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Subscribe, rate, and review Special Chronicles on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Our website, specialchronicles.com, where you can stream our archives of over 500 episodes absolutely for free. Also, there's a list of our favorites, original series, award-winning columns, and blogs. And sign up for our newsletter to receive exclusive bonus content delivered to your inbox. Again, specialchronicles.com. Special Chronicles is hosted by Podbean Podcast Hosting. Our live streams are powered by StreamYard. Thanks, as always, to our business manager, Adam Smrokowski, who always encourages us to never give up. I'm Daniel Smrokowski, back next week with more stories.
Special Chronicles, giving respect and a voice to people with special needs.